Back at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. The 5-2 Atlanta Falcons and the 5-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Raheem Morris, the youngest head coach in the NFL, got the job at 32, just recently turned 34. +8 in the turnover ratio. They've been extremely stingy giving it away, and they're taking it away. And 4 come from behind wins. Mike Smith, a native of Daytona Beach, Florida, took the Falcons to the playoffs in 2008, had a winning year last year, but came up just short of the postseason. And has been very good at the Dome, and a balanced attack, a good running game, and Roddy White leading the NFL in receptions. Atlanta won the toss and elected to receive. So Eric Weems waits back. Once again, a late arriving crowd here in Atlanta. They've tried to do a number of things to try and get folks in their seats a little bit earlier. We've had half-price concessions to try and lure them in a bit early. And we are set to go in the NFC South with first place on the line. Weems from the 5. Still on his feet. And tackled from behind at the 39-yard line by Dakota Watson. 25-year-old Pennsylvania native from Philadelphia, Matt Ryan, comes in with a career record of 25-12 in his starts during the regular season. Michael Turner back to having an outstanding year. You know about Roddy White. And up front, the same group. It's been together the last 3 years. They were nicked up a great deal last year, but healthy this year and playing well. Michael Turner for maybe a yard. Styles G. White there to meet him. White leads this Tampa Bay team in sacks. That certainly has been one of the weaker areas, putting pressure on the quarterback. Gerald McCoy, the #1 pick out of Oklahoma, linebacking core. Barrett Ruud has led Tampa Bay in tackles 3 straight years. And in the secondary, Aqib Talib, 5 interceptions, second only to Washington's D'Angelo Hall in the NFL. He had 2 of them last week, 1 return for a touchdown against Arizona. And Turner again. And not much running room, so right from the get-go, Brian Billick, you said it a moment ago, 3rd down we keep an eye on all day long, and it's 3rd down for Atlanta.
And when we talk about Tampa focusing on 3rd down, this is exactly what we're saying. They need to keep them in a 3rd and long. You don't want Atlanta to be in a 3rd and short or 3rd medium. Keep them to the longer distances. Averages teams will convert about 20% on 3rd and long. They need to keep them in this down and distance all day long.
To be 3rd down and 6. See Atlanta 4th best in the NFL converting on 3rd down. Ryan's first throw of the game. A 3rd down conversion to Tony Gonzalez, the 10-time Pro Bowler. And this is his 2nd season with the Falcons since coming over in a trade from Kansas City.
And if you need a 3rd down conversion with all the talk about Roddy White, why not go to your future Hall of Famer? Just goes right to the heart of the defense here, splitting the linebackers. Matt Ryan knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one.
155th consecutive game with a reception for Gonzalez. Roddy White to the 35-yard line. That is his 55th catch of the year. He was just named the NFC's Offensive Player of the Month. The first wide receiver to win that award since Terrell Owens with Dallas in '07.
And you can see here, Will Svitek was in at tight end, a big tackle, and that's exactly what Atlanta does. Put in a big extra tackle at tight end, make you think you're going to run the ball, and raise up and throw the ball to Roddy White.
Gain of 7 on 1st down. Brings up a 2nd down and 3. Turner denied 1st down yardage. Roy Miller, 3rd round pick a season ago out of Texas, the first man to meet him.
And Michael Turner started out the season a little rough, did not have much of a game in that opening week loss to Pittsburgh. Took a while to get himself cranked up, but this guy is a huge part of why they went to the playoff 2 years ago and why they struggled just a little bit last year, because he was out of the lineup a great deal due to injury.
Another third down for Atlanta. This one 3rd and 2. Ryan throws too high for Roddy White. So on the second third down of this drive for Atlanta, Tampa Bay stands tall, and it looks like Mike Smith is saying we're going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, this is right on that cusp. You're a little bit outside the range of the kicker in terms of percentage-wise. You punt it, at best you're going to pick up maybe 12, 15 yards, so why not go for it when you're the 4th best third down conversion team in the National Football League?
And there you see 6 out of 8.
This tends to be Gonzalez territory again.
Blitz coming. Catch made by Jason Snelling, and that'll move the chains on 4th down.
Yeah, Jason Snelling, an interesting guy. Tom, we were here when they played Arizona, and this guy burst onto the scene, and this was the thing that amazed me. They take a big back like this, and this is a big back. He's 225 pounds. They put him out at wide receiver, and now just slip him into the flat here. A very multi-dimensional player. This kid is something else. I'll tell you what, he cranked off 186 total yards in that game against Arizona. Really got everybody's attention.
Big play of this opening drive of the afternoon, and Turner is tripped up by Miller for a short gain. That's one area where you thought Atlanta might be able to exploit this Tampa Bay defense. Atlanta so good running the football, 5th best in the NFL, and Tampa Bay defensively ranks 30th against the run.
And here's what you're seeing here, Tom. We alluded to it. Look at this 5-minute drive. They're 2nd in the National Football League. They chew up huge chunks of clock, but they also come away with points.
Screen to Snelling. And that's another 1st down to the 19-yard line.
Again, a great job of using the back Snelling out of the backfield. Like we said in that Arizona game, they hit him on a couple screens, one for a touchdown. Here in this building when they played the Cardinals, this guy is multi-dimensional. Just a nice job on the screen. Ryan invites him in, invites him in. This guy, for a big back, has some moves about him and then can finish off lowering those pads and getting the extra yards.
Good start for Matt Ryan. Turner runs through a tackle and then tripped up just shy of the 10. Boy, he is a load. You talked about Snelling. Turner goes 244 pounds.
And this is the thing, when you talk to people about Mike Turner, they always talk about this guy is hard to tackle. It's like tackling a bowling ball. His ability to run, that's a good hit by Hayes, but he just fires his way out of it. If he had kept his feet underneath him, he'd probably been in the end zone. These two backs are one of the better big 1-2 punches in the league.
On the 11th play of the drive, they give it to Turner again. And he's very close to a 1st down. He needed to get to the 9-yard line. Stopped there by Quincy Black. It's a 1st down. 1st and goal for Atlanta. Already 6 minutes have been chewed up on his 1st drive of the game.
Yeah, chewing up the clock is all well and good, but only if you can score points, and that's the combination that Atlanta has. They consume the time of possession, yet they come away with points. Even if it's 3 points, as long as you come away with points, now you're ahead of the curve.
Turner to the 2.
And this is what Tampa Bay was concerned about coming in. They have not played a team the last couple weeks on this nice run they've been. Raheem Morris knows Atlanta has the ability with these big backs to just pound away at you, bludgeon you with them with these running backs. That's exactly what's happened in this drive.
Touchdown, Michael Turner. What an impressive drive for the Falcons to begin the game.
And here you can see Roddy White at the top. You got a wide receiver coming up to the edge. Looks like a throwing formation. They just run off the weak side, push off that right side of Harvey Dahl and Tyson Clabo, excuse me. And you're right, you could not have scripted a better start if I'm the Atlanta Falcons.
Almost 7 minutes after taking the opening kickoff. 13 plays capped off by the Turner touchdown. 7-0 Atlanta. A good start for the home team, chewing up almost 7 minutes on its opening drive. 13 plays, 61 yards. Ryan hitting on 4 of 5, and Turner 28 rushing yards, capped off by the touchdown. Michael Spurlock waits for Tampa Bay. 3 yards out of his own end zone. And a good return by Spurlock. That has been a real strength of this Atlanta team, their kickoff coverage. So Josh Freeman and the Bucs will try and answer when we come back. Josh Freeman became a starter week 9 against Green Bay. They're just 21 years young last season. He got a win in his first game. But this is without a doubt the most hyped start he's made in his very young NFL career. Already trailing 7-0. And Freeman coming out throwing. Guns it over the middle, and it's dropped by Mike Williams. Let's take a look at Tampa Bay offensively. They're missing 4 starters today. No Sammy Stroughter at wide receiver. No Ernest Graham at fullback. Eric Lorig starts there. And up front, they're still missing their starting center, Jeff Fain, and their right tackle, Jeremy Trueblood. Although it should be noted, this group together played very well last week against Arizona. Williams is still the starter, although we'll see a lot of LeGarrette Blount, the rookie, here today. Atlanta defensively will keep an eye on John Abraham. He already has 6 sacks. Linebacking course, Stephen Nicholas, for a 4th straight game, starts in place of the injured Sean Weatherspoon. And in the secondary, the return of Dante Robinson, who suffered a concussion against Philadelphia and missed the game in Cincinnati. They pick up the blitz, and it's incomplete. 3 and out. A flag is on the far side of the field in front of the Tampa Bay sideline.
Offside. Defense, number 25. Correction, number 29. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Brian Williams coming off the edge got a little bit of a jump on this. You could see just at the snap of the ball, going to give Tampa Bay now a chance instead of a 3rd and long on a much more convertible 3rd and medium.
So an early break, and we'll see if the Buccaneers can take advantage. Spurlock appears, depending on the spot, to have enough for a 1st down. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break back in Los Angeles.
Look out for the Lions. First quarter, Matthew Stafford looking up at his tight end, Brandon Pettigrew, for the 10-yard touchdown. Frank's upset pick looking good early. They lead the Jets 7-0 midway through the first quarter. Tom and Brian.
Look, keep an eye on those Detroit Lions. We have a healthy Matthew Stafford back. 1st down throw by Freeman. It's caught on the far side of the field by Mike Williams, their talented rookie, who they found in the 4th round in this year's draft. In fact, 12 receivers were taken ahead of Williams, yet he leads all rookie wideouts in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns.
He's been impressive, although like we saw earlier on that first down that he dropped it, he had 2 big drops last week on 3rd down. This is a dynamic young talent, but he's got to cut down on those drops.
Williams tackled by Nicholas. It'll bring up another 3rd down for Tampa Bay on its opening possession of the game.
You know, I mentioned about how good Atlanta has been on both sides of the ball on 3rd down, but defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder has been a little upset with his troops the last 2 weeks against Cincinnati and Philadelphia, where they got the 3rd downs, got away from them a little bit. That was a very heavy priority for him this week. Boy, 0 pressure. They're showing an all-out pressure here now.
And here they come. Freeman, plenty of time, and this will be a 1st down run. Crossing midfield and slides to the 39. And that'll be a flag, and rightfully so. Freeman had already gone into the slide, and then he took a hit, then a tackle on 15.
Unnecessary roughness.
Wow.
1st down.
A little bit surprised there.
Well, look, first off, let me look at, you talk about an all-out pressure, and you can see a whole bunch of folks. It's very cliche, but the one guy that's unaccounted for is the quarterback when you have this much man pressure across the board, and that allows a Josh Freeman, a very talented, big athlete, to crank off a big run.
Josh Johnson has come in to replace Josh Freeman at quarterback. And I think it forced Atlanta to call a timeout, confused defensively. Looks like Freeman's coming right back in there. Tampa Bay surprising Atlanta, lining up in its formation of the Wildcat, bringing in Josh Johnson, a backup quarterback, for a play. Freeman was not hurt on that hit he took at the end of that 3rd down run. After the gain of 19, they give it to Williams. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage by William Moore.
Let's go back and look at that hit on Freeman. It surprises me a little bit that they pulled the flag. Now you're going to see Williams come in late, and not only is a late hit, it's a bit of helmet to helmet. Now, he did try to back off, but the officials aren't supposed to rule intent. I'm surprised that flag got pulled. And as you said, Josh Johnson coming in was not because of injury, it was because they were trying to get into their version, I guess, of a Wildcat.
First time today, LeGarrette Blount has checked into the Tampa Bay backfield, coming off 120 rushing yards against Arizona last week.
Charge timeout, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay will spend its first timeout, trailing 7-0 in the opening quarter. Cornell Williams limped off the field after his last carry a moment ago, but appears to be all right. But of course, LeGarrette Blount was the talk of the town after setting career highs in virtually every category in the win over Arizona last week. Blitz coming. Mike Peterson drops Freeman back in midfield.
And this, I've seen this more often than I care to. This weak side pressure, you're going to see him come off the weak side. We've seen it the last 2 times we've had Tampa Bay, Tom, where a guy comes totally scot-free off the backside. I don't know whether Freeman doesn't know he's coming and is responsible for him, whether the line should turn to him, but we've seen this several times in the 2 games we've had with Tampa.
Third and 19, well short of the first down. On a catch to Killen Winslow at the 39-yard line, and Tampa Bay will punt.
And this is the kind of cascading pressure that gets put on a team. I'm talking about the long drive by Atlanta. They come up with a score. Now you drive the ball pretty well, but you come up without points, and now you're having to punt the ball. You do that too often, all of a sudden it starts feeling like you got to do something else.
Robert Malone trying to pin him, which he will do inside of the 1-yard line. Beautifully done. Savvy Piscatelli down there to get it. Excellent special teams coverage by Savvy Piscatelli. Pinning the Falcons inside their own 1-yard line. Atlanta 7-0 lead, 2:38 to play in the opening quarter from the Georgia Dome. Roddy White gives him some breathing room.
Tom, we don't get to go back to special teams plays too often, but you got to watch this. Piscatelli here, and here's what I want you to see right here. Stop right there. Backfield, or back judge Greg Steed, his eyes clearly, he knows what he has accountable for. Make sure those feet don't break the plane. Excellent job, special teams job by Piscatelli.
And this is bad news for the Atlanta Falcons and their fans. After making that catch a minute ago, Roddy White had a very hard time getting up, was going to walk off the field on the Tampa Bay sideline, and now they come out to get him, and he'll walk back the other way.
Boy, you're right. You hope that's just a little bit of a twist, an ache, maybe a cramp. This would be devastating. Here he just gets tied up. Nice forearm in the face to Ronde Barber. And then they just get rolled up going down. Kind of hard there to see what had happened.
2 catches here in the opening quarter for White, who leads the NFL with 56 receptions on the year. What a beautiful piece done in our pregame show by Pam Oliver on Roddy White and the way he turned around his career after a couple of admittedly lazy seasons after being a #1 pick in 2005.
Yeah, just a great growth of a professional, learning what it was to be a professional.
Turner cuts it back to the inside. That'll be a gain of close to 5.
Michael Turner has that rare combination of obviously the size. Just look at the way this guy's built. You talk about the proverbial bowling ball, but he's got great feet, great explosion, and he's very, very patient. He's a guy that knows how to stretch, wait, put his foot in the dirt, get downhill, and if I got to run over a couple people, that's okay with me too.
Tony Gonzalez dropped it. Turner a big part of that opening drive. He got 8 carries on that first drive, leading to a touchdown.
Well, the balance that Michael Turner presents you when you're able to get him cranked up in the running game, then the play action fakes that come off of that, the residual of a big physical running attack like Atlanta has is huge for this team and a huge part of their success.
Turner out snelling in on 3rd and 6. Gonzalez not going to drop 2 in a row. That's a first down. Linebacker Geno Hayes saying he didn't get it. Well, the official's not buying into that.
Yeah, he has the wrong jersey on. His isn't striped.
Well, I think he's saying that Gonzalez pushed off.
Yeah, and believe me, if anybody can get away with it, it would be Tony Gonzalez. He'd know how to do it after 14 years. Here you can see, like you said, you're not going to drop 2 of these. And as the veteran experience you'd expect, right at the first down marker.
Dangerous throw, and that is Aqib Talib. Did not get it. That would have been his 6th interception of the year.
Great transition by Talib. Here, Matt Ryan thinks he's got a reception all the way to Michael Jenkins. Talib, beautiful job of the route running. Now he just turns into the receiver. Looks like dropped out right there. You can see it hit the turf just as he came out. Great reaction by a developing corner who Ronde Barber says is as good a corner as he's seen.
Tampa Bay confused. They've got guys running on the field, off the field. been able to get it together. Missed tackle, but not much running room. To Jason Snelling up to the 26.
And this is what Atlanta does to you with the constant rotation of personnel. Offensive coordinator Mike Mularkey does a great job. He'll go from 2 tights to 3 wides to 2 backs, back to 2 tights, constantly putting pressure on the defense. Here's Mike Mularkey right here, back to his Pittsburgh days, where that puts a great deal of pressure on a defense with a constant rotation of personnel.
Ryan finds Finneran for a first down up to the 40-yard line, and that will be the final play of the opening quarter. 7 minutes of the quarter chewed up on a touchdown drive for Atlanta. 7-0 lead, and Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Roddy White walking around a bit on that Atlanta Falcons sideline as we're set to begin the second quarter. We'll check in with Chris Myers and get an update on Roddy White after this first down play. Pump fake. Home run ball. Michael Jenkins, a catch inside the 20.
Great double move by Michael Jenkins. You can see on the outside here, he does a little stutter go on the outside. He and Matt Ryan clearly on the same page. Just that nod to the quick post. Now to the outside, the ball fading away. That's a tough catch right there, folks. That's a heck of a play by Michael Jenkins.
Of course, Jenkins missed the first 5 games of the year with a shoulder injury that he suffered during training camp. Had a big game, his first game back against Philadelphia. Pretty quiet against Arizona. First down run by Michael Turner. Roddy White back in. Chris Myers, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Tom, when Roddy came off, he was pointing to his right leg. He told the trainer and the doctor, "I'm okay." They said, "Relax." They took off of that area around his knee. They checked for lower leg flexibility, and they rubbed something over the knee, put a sleeve on that right knee. Officially, it's just a bruise, but he is obviously back in, and he told the trainer after working on some flexibility drills, "I'm good to go. I feel 100%.
Great to have Chris Myers with us. Of course, he was up here in the booth with you the last 3 weeks.
We had a good time. We missed you, but Chris and I had a good time.
Not much this time. Flag down. It looked like there was some movement along the line of scrimmage. Question is,
defense number 93. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
what we were starting to say. The question was, did Gerald McCoy start too early? He did.
Yeah, the rookie just nudged, a little bit of nod there, jumped off early. This is a good young football player. Remember, he and Ndamukong Suh, it was big debate. Who was the better of the two? This kid's going to be pretty good, but Ndamukong Suh is special. What everybody's been seeing out of this guy. But Gerald McCoy is going to be good. A little bit different type of interior player, but still pretty good.
Obi Mahaley springing Turner to the end zone. Well, you talked about how big Turner and Snelling are. Don't ever forget about Mahaley.
Yeah, 250 pounds. Obi Mahaley does a nice job picking up the defensive line coming off the backside. Again, to be able to physically pound away at this Tampa Bay defense, it takes its toll and is mentally demoralizing to a team as much as it is physical.
First drive was 13 plays. This one, 99 yards. 10 plays. 14-0. NFC South Division lead on the line today at the Georgia Dome, and it's been all Falcons so far. 99 yards. And now a 2-touchdown lead for the home team. Michael Spurlock into the open field. One man to beat. And Brent Grimes runs him out of bounds all the way inside the 25-yard, 35-yard line.
And you were wondering, how was Tampa Bay going to respond? Well, this is one way to do it. Watch the explosion right down the pipe. Atlanta had everybody positioned properly. This drives the special teams coach nuts. You got them bottled up properly, but Tampa does a nice job with a hat on a hat, and all of a sudden now they're down in scoring position.
Of course, in 2007, Spurlock became the first Buccaneer ever to return a kickoff for a touchdown. And a big return here. LeGarrette Blount, his first carry of the afternoon, he picks up 3.
I got to go back to my man Ovi Mahaley here at this fullback. If you're going to run the ball well, there's not a lot of dominant fullbacks in this league, but Ovi Mahaley is one of them. Comes back, does a nice job on Tim Crowder. To have a 250-pound fullback in front of you, and you need this kind of car. If you're Ovi Mahaley, you better be 250 pounds and can defend yourself. You got a car that looks like that.
He's giving a lot of pub to his foundation.
That's right. I love it.
Doing a lot of great work. Freeman looking for Williams. It's incomplete, but a flag is down on the field.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving prior to the snap, did not reset for a full second. Penalties decline, 3rd down.
Yeah, and this is where this is a young team. We forget, even though they're playing very, very well, just how young this team is. They've had the ball shoved down their throat for 2 straight drives. They get into scoring position. You start to feel that pressure. Now they've got a 3rd and long. They've got to try to convert.
Jailbreak blitz, got to be open somewhere, and that's Williams who steps in front of Grimes, and that's a first down to the 15.
Josh Freeman has an incredible amount of trust in Williams. Mike Williams, he's only 6'2", but he plays so much bigger than that. This is basically a jump ball that he figures, given the size difference, and Grimes is only 5'10", but that's just a bigger body, bigger than the 6'2" would indicate. Very strong hands, has had a couple drops, but by the same token, when you need something in crunch time, he's going to go to Williams.
John Abraham shaken up, and he'll slowly walk off the field.
Just shaking like he had maybe a bit of a stinger. I'd be surprised if we didn't see him back in. Abraham coming off this edge. Just got caught up going down to the ground. Looks like maybe just a stinger. He'll be back in.
All right, chance to get back in it. From the 14, play fake one way. Freeman lofts up top. Aurelius Ben, a touchdown for the Buccaneers.
And now Ben, he's just down. This is after a play fake. Ben's in here, excuse me. On the outside, you got Williams. That's where the focus is. Play fake, play fake, play fake, release. And now again, the faith of Josh Freeman to throw up these jump balls. First to Williams, now to Ben. And it's not just by happenstance. They practice it. They trust the size. This is his first career touchdown, one he'll obviously remember.
Rookie out of Illinois with his first career touchdown catch to bring the Buccaneers within 7. Rookie Aurelius Ben with a touchdown reception from quarterback Josh Freeman to make it a 14-7 game. Of course, Tampa Bay, the youngest team in the NFL, and they have the youngest head coach in the NFL in Raheem Morris, who clearly is not afraid to go out on a limb. One of their mantras this entire year is a race to 10 wins, as Weems will bring it out. 3 yards from his end zone, and he's tripped up to the 14-yard line. And of course, he made news all over the NFL, did Morris, after a win over St. Louis, and then echoed the same words last week in Arizona. Here they are.
People gonna tell you that was an ugly win. And we gonna tell them we still the best in the NFC. Yes, sir. Right we are. Yes, sir. We don't care about the haters. It doesn't matter. It's about our swagger. It's about us. It's about all of us in this room coming together and believing.
Not afraid to step out.
Oh, and he's got them believing. They're drinking the Kool-Aid, I promise you. And that's a big part of why they're responding the way they just did.
Ryan out of the shotgun. The catch made by Gonzalez, stays on his feet. And that's about a 9-yard pickup for Moore. Let's check in with Chris Meyer.
Well, Tom, down on the Falcons sideline, those comments can work both ways. The Atlanta Falcons, Mike Peterson, first said I had to rewind the tape to see if Raheem Morris really said that about his team. Some quotes. It was Roddy White saying kind of sarcastically, oh, we get to play the best team in the NFC. Lucky us. Todd McClure, I'll tell you what, I'll see you in December and January if they're the best team in the NFC. Now, Mike Smith said it's not our style, but an Atlanta coach told me there were little reminders pinned up all around the building this week. Raheem Morris motivated his own team. He may have motivated the other team even more.
It's enough for a first down up to the 32-yard line. And again, let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break in Los Angeles.
Adrian Peterson gave the Vikings a 7-0 lead with a touchdown. Ensuing kickoff, the Rod Stevens howling 96 yards, his second kick return of the year, third of his career, and the Cardinals, just like that, ties it back up, 7 apiece. Tom, Brian?
Thank you very much, Kurt. If Minnesota has any ideas of trying to get back in the NFC North race, that is a must game today. Flags litter the field on a first down carry by Turner.
Offside, defense number 93. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Gerald McCoy again. That's his second. I know the young man wants to get a good jump on it, but boy, you can't cost your team this way. He really felt like, in talking, here we see Roddy White on the bench, that knee is something you got to be concerned with. They play on a short week this week, Tom, coming back to Baltimore. You got to think real long and hard before you're going to reinsert Roddy White into this game.
All day to throw. And the backup tight end Michael Palmer makes his third catch of the year. They're without their primary number 2 tight end, and Justin Peale.
Well, and Matt Ryan made a point that as he continues to progress, that ability to read down the field, take the big play, but then drop the ball off. That's a huge part of their ability to sustain these drives, to do what they've done here. You're talking about a 61-yard and 99-yard drive. That's the part of his game he wants to enhance, the ability to know when to drop the ball off.
Snelling back in and picks up 2.
You know, just to go back a little bit, Tom, to talk about Raheem Morris and the mentality that he's fostering here. You're seeing it on the field. A young team, after the way Atlanta's marched up and down the field, they could have folded up their tent real easy, and you would have understood it. But this mentality that he's fostering is what allows them to stay in game after game. Every game we've had, they've had a critical point where you would have understood had they folded, and so far they're not. Kill. He's changing the play at the line.
Give it to Turner. And he's run out of bounds at the 46-yard line. What does that mean? Kill.
You go in the huddle and you call 2 plays. You call an inside run that kills to an outside run, a pass that kills to a run that kills to a pass. And rather than trying to change the play totally at the line of scrimmage, Matt Ryan will come up. He obviously saw something that wanted to make him run to the right. My guess is they maybe had a zone play to the left. The defense said, no, we want to run this to the right. Instead of having to audible totally, you just go kill. They know what play you're going to.
Third down. Ryan nearly fell over. What a catch by Finner, and thrown behind him, and that's a first down to the 45. Boy, he's a nice player. And a flag comes in late. Aqib Talib got tied up on the far side of the field with Harry Douglas. And I think that's what they're talking about.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 33, late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, they got Albert Mack.
Here you see Finneran just running a little drag route. Matt Ryan back in the pocket, slips a little bit, loses his balance, steps up, knows where everybody is. That's a hard throw. And you're going to see Finneran working all the way in back through here. Or the penalty, excuse me. This is the penalty back here. Mack retaliating, right? The second punch. Harry Douglas threw the first. Mack, you're going to get caught when you're the second guy with the push.
Snelling. Spun down at the 19-yard line. That'll be another first down.
I like the way Atlanta, I just talked about Tampa Bay responding to the emotional ups and downs. Atlanta, they've got control. Tampa comes back and scores. Now here Atlanta marching right back down the field on a long drive. Love the play selection here. You don't get much more balance than that.
Time Ryan couldn't find an open receiver. Let's go downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom, Brian, they're taking Roddy White into the locker room. Apparently when he went back out on the field and tried to move laterally, his knee started to bother him again. He keeps saying he's okay. The doctor and the trainer say you're not. We need to check on it. It's questionable if he'll return unofficially, but if he does, he'll be playing in pain. Let's go back up to you guys.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Well, a 5-yard run on a scramble by Ryan brings up 2nd and 5, and here we are again on the 9th play of a Falcon drive. Inside handoff to Snelling. And a 3rd down upcoming. We go back to what looked like a rather harmless reception by White when he got hurt.
Yeah, it just kind of here he pushes off Barber, and then he just kind of gets rolled up. You don't see any buckling. You don't see the twisting right there, that little bit right there. The way he came down it right there, Tom, it might very well just be a bruise, which would be good news as opposed to something structural. Excuse me.
Meanwhile, Todd McClure is down, starting his 136th consecutive game. Of course, he broke a franchise record held by Keith Brookings earlier this year. We'll be back. Todd McClure in his 12th year out of LSU out. Joe Hawley, a rookie out of UNLV, in. 3rd down from the 13. Snelling did not get enough for a first down. Geno Hayes coming up to make a big hit.
Nice job. Obviously, you don't care what they get on 3rd down as long as it's not enough to convert. Nice job. Open field tackle, knocking him out of bounds. Actually a nice stop for Tampa Bay. Had they given up 7 here, that would have been 3 straight drives. Kind of a mini win for Tampa Bay here, holding them to 3.
Former Buccaneer kicker Matt Bryant. 31-yard field goal try. And it is good. .5:27 to play until halftime. If you're Raheem Morris right now, and you've always been a big believer in swings, emotional swings, do you need points here? I mean, you want points, but do you need them? You've been dominated. Take a look at this.
On the road, this is unbelievable. I don't know that I've ever seen. This is 13 total plays for Tampa Bay and 15 first downs. You need to blunt that right now. They need a nice long drive.
Preston Parker bobbles the ball and now loses the ball. They're saying he's down, I believe. He's down. He was already down, so that scramble for the football apparently will not matter. They pointed emphatically that he was down.
Well, they got to break everybody. Say this is the down by contact rule. Here you're going to see fumbles the ball to begin with, so you're unsettled from the get-go. And now if the ball comes down, yep, he gets hit, the ball comes out. At this point, it would be you can't rule it any way different because you have no idea who has control of the ball. But he was hit, came down. That's the correct call. And even if they had not ruled down by contact, they weren't going to be able to establish who came up with this thing. Had not a good start. You talk about a team having to be focused and come out and needs to drive the length of the field. This is not the way you want to start the drive. Atlanta went 99 yards on their drive. We're going to see if Tampa Bay can go 90 on this one.
I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time understanding why Michael Spurlock was not back returning kicks. And that they put in the youngster Parker. Spurlock had a 66-yard kickoff return already in this game today. The pitch to Aurelius Ben brings it up to the 14-yard line. Let's check in with Chris Myers.
Yeah, Tom, just back on the offensive line. Todd McClure with a knee injury stood with his hands on his hips, huffing and puffing on the sideline. And the trainer said, sit down. They looked at his knee, and then they took him into the locker room. Already in the locker room with a knee injury is Roddy White. So McClure is questionable, just like Roddy White with knee injuries. The good news, John Abraham, they checked the back of his head and the feeling in his fingers, and he's fine and back out there for Atlanta on defense.
Good stuff, Chris Myers. As always. Freeman. And it's batted in the air and incomplete. Let's go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Cleveland had a 10-0 lead on the Patriots, but New England's rookies coming through. Tom Brady's pass deflected off the hands of Rob Gronkowski into the hands of Aaron Hernandez for the touchdown. Moving to within 3 with just over 5 minutes to go before halftime. Tom and Brian.
Tell you, Cleveland playing pretty good football.
They are. They've rebounded well. They're still paddling upstream, so to speak, but they're showing some signs. Josh Freeman's in charge of this protection scheme, has been all day. It's why you see Cadillac Williams in here, not LeBlunt. Or excuse me, Blunt. He's been struggling with protection.
Wide open right down the middle of the field is Kellen Winslow, and that's a first down to the 30, close to the 30-yard line. He'll spot it short at the 27.
Well, just like on the other side of the ball, when Matt Ryan really needs something, he's going to look for Tony Gonzalez. Kellen Winslow, one of the top tight ends in this league. In the last decade, there's only been 2 tight ends drafted in the top 10. Him and Vernon Davis, both are pretty good.
Just under 4 minutes to go until halftime. They drop it off to Carnell Williams. Real good move by Williams. Bought him an additional 5 yards. About a yard short of the first down. 2 timeouts remaining for the Buccaneers.
And this is what I'm talking about, them responding to a tough situation. That you got to be impressed with this young team. They fumble the kickoff, have a tough early break in the first play, and now they regathered themselves. Very untypical of a young team.
And they hand it off to Williams. And he's very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 37.
And this is the real sign of a maturation. Here, Williams gets the first down. They're in no huddle. Critical situation. We just said they've got to come away with some points here. They put Josh Freeman totally in charge and say, you go orchestrate it with the no huddle.
To the 42-yard line. Clock continues to run. 2:40 to play until halftime. Boy, Freeman is a big man.
Yeah, and more to the point, watch how he accelerates up this as he climbs the pocket. You know, it's deceptive because he's so big and he's got such a long stride, but this guy can move around very well for a big man. He's in total charge of this offense right now. He's telling everybody what to do, what the protection scheme is, and what route combination he wants with it.
Blitz coming wide open on the slant is Williams. And Williams has gone to the end zone for a touchdown. Josh Freeman and the Buccaneers answer indeed. And a point after away from making it a 3-point game. 58 yards on the touchdown to Williams.
So impressive. This is simple as a screwdriver now down here at the bottom. They brought pressure. Josh Freeman knew that. He got it protected up. Man across the board, just a simple slant. Bad angle by the defensive back. Talk about getting back into it. Great orchestration. What did I say? Could they go 90 yards from the 10-yard line? Yes, they can.
Well, you know, the one guy everybody was talking about, LeGarrette Blount, and all those rushing yards he had last week. But when they keep the veteran Carnell Williams in there to protect his quarterback, boy, does he get the job done. The young Buccaneers on the road, down by 3. Take a peek ahead next week, the NFL on Fox, a doubleheader. Game 1, some will see Minnesota and the Bears, other the Lions and the Bills, and America's game of the week in the afternoon. The Cowboys and the Giants, some will see the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The Ford Fox NFL pregame show brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150, built Ford tough. Begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Josh Freeman engineering that 7-play, 90-yard drive in less than 3.5 minutes to bring Tampa Bay within a field goal. Still plenty of time now for Matt Ryan and the Falcons with 2 timeouts remaining and the 2-minute warning. Weems bounces off one tackle and then took a lick from Cody Grimm. So we have reached the 2-minute warning. First place on the line in the got a ball game here in the NFC South.
Yeah, this is what you expect. 2 5-2 teams in the division. They may be 2 of the best teams in the NFC. They're looking like it right now.
Todd McCord back in there at center for Atlanta. 2 minutes to play until halftime, and Ryan comes out throwing, or tries to. Wrapped up by Kyle Moore, and they're in hurry-up mode.
It's good to see McClure back. Nothing shakes a quarterback up more than to lose their center.
Gonzalez got away from Rondé Barber, and that's a first down up to the 38. Clock continues to run.
And Atlanta's in great shape. They've got 2 timeouts here, so they got all the time they need with all the timeouts they need to drive this thing down.
Blitz coming. Gonzalez unable to get out of bounds. He tries to. And by stretching out, he did get that ball out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:12.
Nice job. This is a pure veteran move here now. He recognizes, okay, it's nice to get a catch. It really doesn't amount to much, so I better get my fanny out of bounds here. We want to preserve as much time as we can. Nice veteran move by the 14-year future Hall of Famer.
Clear shot from McCoy, and he delivered one on Ryan. I will remind you, lunch with benefits, and what else could there be besides Coach Speak with Ryan Billick? 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday.
I'm going to have to get that big touchdown by Tampa Bay in on that one. Great job of pick up Josh Freeman, orchestrating a no-huddle offense for a much-needed score to make this 17-14.
Are you going to adjust your clock for that show on Tuesday?
What time is it? I just do the show. I don't have to know when they put it up.
All of a sudden, Tampa Bay making a little noise, putting pressure on Matt Ryan. That time it was Styles G. White.
And they're just doing it with the 4-man rush. Nice job. And as we look at this now, we talked about the time. All right, Tampa Bay now with 2 timeouts. You're just going to see pressure by White here. This was a simple 4-man rush. Tackle, that was just a blown assignment. The guard did not come all the way out. I was about to give the man great credit for a sack. It's a lot easier when no one blocks you.
You think?
Maybe.
Michael Kanan puts a foot on it. And then it checks back up. So not bad field position at all for Josh Freeman and the Buccaneers with those 2 timeouts left, just under a minute. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. We'll have scores and highlights from around the league and the Fox Sports ticker up to the second scores and stats. All right, Brian Billy, go back to your head coaching days. Less than a minute, 2 timeouts left, a rookie quarterback. You just scored to make it a 3-point game. Are you trying to get down the field here?
Absolutely, because part of it too is still the development of this young team. Yeah, you can make a case to say, let's be a little conservative here, be happy with the 3. No, I want to see my young quarterback and young team grow in this situation. Plus, I'm greedy and I want the additional points.
And there's Carnell Williams again in there to help protect his quarterback. Good coverage that time by Robinson on Mike Williams.
Williams doing a great job, just like we saw earlier. Look at him scan. Watch, he goes all the way back across the formation, seeing the vulnerability off the strong side. That takes a veteran back to recognize going from one side all the way to the other to pick up blitz pressure.
Second and 10. That one just got away when it left the fingertips of Freeman, incomplete. Third down and 10. 47 seconds left until the half.
Boy, you love the gamesmanship here now, because now there's the potential, and you can see the third down conversions here. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, look at this, 4 or 5, but Atlanta, if they can get 3 and out here, have the chance to get the ball back with 2 timeouts and maybe still do some damage. Feels like a college basketball game. Last 2 minutes is going to take about 3 hours.
They're going to hand it off on third.
Now they're trying to burn some time or force them to call a timeout. And that's exactly what Mike Smith does. That's a move clearly to force Atlanta to call a timeout. We're going to punt either way. I don't want to leave them too much time and timeouts. Strategic move by Tampa Bay.
See that score at the top of your screen, New Orleans at 14-3, and all of a sudden, after a sluggish start through a lot of injuries, a big win Monday night over the Steelers. And don't forget about them in this NFC South.
No question. When you see their schedule as it pans out over the next month, they are positioned. I really think Sean Payton's got his team right where he wants them. You talk about the Super Bowl hangover, whatever. They struggled just enough early. Believe me, he's got their attention. They are a very dangerous team coming down the stretch.
You and I will be in New Orleans in 2 weeks from now when the Seahawks pay a visit to the Superdome. Line drive punt by Malone. It's down at the 30. Now the NFC South has become the gold standard from going first one year, maybe worse the next, and going from worst to first. You go back to alignment in 2002. Its last place team has finished first in every season except 2008, when Atlanta finished last in 07, finished second in 08. And don't forget New Orleans 2 years ago, an 8-8 team. Last year, division champs, 13-3, Super Bowl champs.
Much more stability across the division now. And here in Atlanta, Tampa Bay, we're seeing the growth, and clearly New Orleans. And Carolina will get back on track. Much more stability in the division. I don't think we'll see those dramatic back and forths like we've seen.
Well, not sure what's taking place here.
They're checking for some. Again, we're inside 2 minutes, so any type of reviews obviously come from the booth. Obviously, they saw something that needs review. He has not told us what it is just yet.
You almost wonder if Maurice Stovall here went out of bounds and was the first player to touch the ball when he downed it at the 30.
Well, I don't, if you are forced out, if you cannot just run out of bounds to avoid the block and run down the field, that is the first touching. But there was contact that forced him out. If that's indeed what they're looking for, I will be shocked if this is a first touching violation. Again, to make the point, let me show you here. Stop right here. If you just run out of bounds, and guys used to do that to avoid getting blocked. But now if you get shoved out of bounds, and I guess evidently even if you are shoved out of bounds, and clearly there was contact, you cannot be the first to touch down the ball, and clearly he was out of bounds here. I would stand corrected on that one.
Review, number 85 of the kicking team went out of bounds, came back in, and was first to touch the pass. That's a foul for illegal touching. 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the play. First down.
And that's my mistake. I thought if you weren't contacted and just ran, first off, it's a penalty to go down the sideline, not forced out of bounds, but you learn something every day.
Well, Maurice Stovall learned a lesson as well. So the ball is spotted now at the 35-yard line. A 3-point game. Well, let's see if Matt Ryan's going to try and put it up.
With a timeout. Lots of time with a timeout to get into at least field goal position.
And remember, they're without Roddy White. He's back in their locker room. Finneran is chopped down and the clock continues to run. It's a nice tackle made by E.J. Biggers. And a timeout is spent.
Third.
That is the final timeout of the half for the Atlanta Falcons. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy, the entire gang standing by to bring you up to date on what's happening in Carolina. And the Mets in Minnesota, your old stomping ground, as offensive coordinator days.
Well, I tell you, they're hurting right now because the expectations coming back in after going to the championship game, you get Brett Favre back. Minnesota has great fans. It is killing them right now what's going on up there.
Thought Brett Favre played very well last week.
He did. It's amazing how that kind of got shuffled on the back burner with all the Randy Moss stuff.
Looking for Finneran. There was contact down that sideline with Elbert Mack.
Well, they're going to let it go if it's give and take as they go down the field. And there you're going to see here, all of a sudden, you said it earlier, Tom, all of a sudden there's pressure. Now, I know it's in a 2-minute situation. There again, the back just bailed out early. He's not liking, he's figuring there was, he was glad it went down the way it was. And one step, looked like a shortstop there. Fielded the ball pretty good.
So 3rd down and 8. Ryan to Snelling, who's sprinting for the sideline, and he won't get there. That is just a great tackle made by Talib.
You don't, they may try to kill it here. I don't know if they're going to get it off. Nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Well, that last 2 minutes of this game were very indicative of two very good football teams responding to each other emotionally, orchestrating it. Just very impressed with both teams right now. I really am.
This has been the MO in the NFC South, Brian.
Absolutely.
You and I, for many, many years, have followed this division. This is the kind of game generally teams will play regardless of first place being on the line as it is here today. So 17-14 Atlanta. Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Set to begin the second half, 17-14 Atlanta. We invite you to follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL.
You think this guy's listening to us, or has he got some gospel music on here?
Maybe gospel, maybe a little Marvin Gaye, the Tams, the Embers, the Catalinas, popular bands in this part of the country.
Rip those off. You got a list there with me, or you would listen?
Listen to all that stuff.
I love it.
Do you know how to do the shag? Very popular dance in a mid-Atlantic region.
I have a little bit more decorum about me than that.
Tampa Bay to get the football. Michael Spurlock back to return the kick again, and he's up to the 25-yard line. All right, Billick's breakdown. Rather than just, general overall stats, these are some of the ones that really caught your eye.
They jump at. Look at these first downs, and that obviously you'd say time of possession. But what balances it off? Yeah, you got time of possession with points, but the big plays equal it out. And then finally, who's going to blink first? Who's going to blink under this? I'm not going to say championship type of atmosphere, but this is for the lead in the division right here.
Williams, a big touchdown reception to make it a 3-point game in the final minutes of the second quarter. LeGarrette Blount on first down, picks up a couple of yards, and let's check in with Chris Myers.
Tom, last player out of the locker room, Roddy White jogging through. Mike Smith said Roddy White and center Todd McClure will return on offense. Smith said on defense, we're going to keep the pressure, keep coming, keep blitzing at young Josh Freeman. Meanwhile, Raheem Morris said they're playing into his hands. Freeman has shown he can handle the blitz, including those big plays, and so I'm not worried about that. He is worried about stopping the Atlanta run. Freeman excited so far, and Raheem acted as if he had the lead in this game at halftime. He was that excited, Tom.
This team has played very, very well on the road. You go back to last year, and they've won 5 consecutive games. Play action. Freeman looking down the field, he'll take it himself. And is shoved out of bounds at the 30-yard line by John Abraham. It'll bring up a 3rd down on this opening possession of the second half.
And that's an important point Chris just made. Mike Smith knows that he's got to do something to take advantage of getting Josh Freeman off this rhythm that he seems to have. This is a great record. This is pretty good with the lead, but right now Mike Smith's not thinking about that. 3 points isn't enough in his mind right now.
It's a very impressive record, though, for a guy 2 years in the league.
Absolutely.
Just throws it up. And it's intercepted, and you said who will blink first? There's a mistake by Freeman.
Well, part of putting the pressure on Josh Freeman, this young quarterback, not only can he pick it up, but you're going to see right here, this come off the edge right here. You've got to know that, okay, if this guy's unblocked, I'm a big, powerful guy, but I cannot throw up one of these ducks. I know I can power myself through it. Last week against Arizona, the Cardinals thought they could get him to throw a couple of these. They never got home to that degree. Huge turnover here for Atlanta.
The pressure by Croy Bierman, the interception by Jonathan Babineau. And that is only the 4th interception thrown this entire year by Freeman. In fact, it's his first interception in his last 146 pass attempts. Turner all the way to the 10-yard line.
Nice job by Atlanta. Did a little something a little bit unique. I want you to stop right here. This is Obi Mahaley that they've put into the tight end position to create that big offensive line. Very rare for a fullback to be in that position. Goes running out like a pass. Didn't even have to block the guy. This is exactly what Atlanta wants to do after a turnover. Come up with a big physical run like this.
Turner again, but blown dead.
False start, offense number 34. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, I give my man a little love. Now he jumps right back at you. An ill-advised procedure penalty. Back you up a little bit.
Well, offensively, just great numbers both in the air and on the ground.
Yeah, you like to see Michael Turner getting cranked up here, obviously. Very efficient by Matt Ryan. Tony Gonzalez coming up big after an early untypical drop.
First and 15. There's Gonzalez. Shoved out of bounds right at the 10 by Aqib Talib.
And if you're Matt Ryan, the thing you love about Tony Gonzalez, any big tight end, the sweep spot on a guy like that. You can throw that thing just about anywhere you want. Obviously a tremendous athlete, but his ability, basketball player at Cal, you can throw it up, he can take it off the rim to bring it down. A very simple reception now puts you back into a workable second down.
Those are the most yards ever by a tight end.
Yeah, look at the other names on there. The rest of those guys are wide receivers.
Blitz coming. And Ryan goes too far beyond the reach of Harry Douglas. Geno Hayes applying the pressure.
Threw that under pressure, obviously would love to have had maybe the size or the height of a Michael Jenkins, a Roddy White, or like we just said, a Tony Gonzalez. Harry Douglas, very shifty, quick underneath, not necessarily the vertical ups that those other three have.
All right, a 3rd down and 9. This would be a big stop for Tampa Bay.
Do you slip in a quick draw or trap? Do you think they're pushed to the outside? They're likely to be in a zone across the way here. Nope, looks like they might be pressure. Let's see.
4-man rush. That's Roddy White. And depending on his spot, it might be enough for a 1st down. Needed to get just outside the 1. 1st down.
Boy, what a big play. Roddy White coming out of the slot here. Typically what you'll do is you'll clear out with these other guys, then a little pivot route right back inside. See, they've swabbed it out with Douglas. You've got to count on somebody making a play in the red zone, particularly on 3rd down. It's so difficult to throw into the end zone, to throw for the 1st down on 3rd down. Typically it takes someone making a play like a Roddy White.
So his first catch since leaving the game. And I think they're going to challenge the spot of this ball. It came from the Tampa Bay sideline.
Now there's 2 parts to the challenge here, obviously.
Tampa Bay has challenged the spotting of the football. Timeout.
Raheem Morris might have the best arm in the league. He threw that flag from the sideline all the way to the 10-yard line.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down Atlanta. Tampa Bay is charged with their 1st team timeout.
Yeah, this was going to be a tough challenge. Anytime you're talking about a spot, Tom, it's very, very difficult. Remember, the line that you see here, the yellow line, is unofficial, and it's where is the ball when he's down. As he comes down right there, it looks like he's short. But again, our line is unofficial. They spot the ball just on the 1-yard line, and unless you have a camera dead on at that angle, it's always very difficult to win a challenge. Here you can see coming down in here, not only do you have to win, yeah, should the ball be replaced, did it not make the 1st down?
1st and goal, they give it to Turner. And he is all the way back to the 7-yard line. The first man in to meet him was Barrett Ruud, the middle linebacker, and then he was chased down by a host of white jerseys, Talib, Grimm, and company.
Boy, that's a tough one. You love the effort, and you've seen guys bounce out and score in that kind of situation, but as a coach, you're thinking, boy, that kind of wall, just go down. Give me a 2nd and 1 from the 1. Let's don't turn this into 2nd and 6 from the 6.
Turner out, Snelling in.
Gonzalez over here. Many times they'll clear out and bring someone underneath.
Jump ball. Looking for Finneran. And defended beautifully by E.J. Biggers in his 2nd year out of Western Michigan.
You like the matchup here. Finneran's got the size at 6'5". Biggers 6 foot. Does a nice job playing it. Gave enough room to the inside. They weren't going to get a flag on that. No question about it. I know that fade route is your favorite play in football, Tom.
Yeah, it is. For the defense. All right, now 3rd and goal. Give me that play instead. That's a touchdown to Michael Palmer.
Great misdirection. Got a future Hall of Famer in there. I'm going to let him swab this thing out. I got the leading receiver in the league. I'm going to let him swab it out. You focus on him, and I'll throw it to Michael Palmer, a rookie out of Clemson. If you got to cover 2 of those 3 guys, I think I go with Gonzalez and White.
That's a first career touchdown reception of Michael Palmer. Congratulations to him. 10:31 to play in the 3rd quarter. Ryan and the Falcons stretch the lead to 10. Michael Palmer, his first career touchdown reception. Atlanta scoring, going just 30 yards after the interception was thrown by Freeman. And it's a 10-point lead.
You know you're a backup when you catch a touchdown pass and then have to go cover the kick. That's the definition of backup.
Great kick by Kanan. Tampa Bay gets the ball at the 20. We'll step away from football just for a moment, Brian, because so many in the state of Florida lost one of their very favorites. George Sparky Anderson, who won a couple of World Series as manager of the Cincinnati Reds, won another as manager of the Detroit Tigers. He was such a young man and had that white hair when he became skipper of the Redlegs, leading the Big Red Machine. And of course, so many in Florida remember him so fondly. All those years in spring training with both Cincinnati and Detroit. So our thoughts and prayers for the family of Sparky Anderson. Boy, will he be missed. One of the most wonderful men to ever walk this earth. LeGarrette Blount on first down comes back the other way. Gets a block from his quarterback and picks up close to 10. First big run of the day for LeGarrette Blount.
This is just a nice job. That LeGarrette Blount, not necessarily known for his speed. Anytime you see a big back change directions like this, now you got to, and that's a big quarterback blocking. That's a legitimate guy blocking with 250 pounds of his own by way of Josh Freeman. Tampa Bay has emotionally responded to every challenge in this game. They've got another one here.
Back to the ground and back to Blount. And another good run, and Blount is a load. LeGarrette Blount, undrafted out of Oregon. He played just 3 games his senior year. He was a player many of you will remember in a season opening loss for the Ducks at Boise State. After all the celebration began to take place for Boise State on the field at home, LeGarrette Blount punched a Boise State player and was immediately suspended until the very end of the season. And I know you talked with him last week, Brian Billick, about that incident, and obviously he's put that behind him. Boy, did he have a game last week.
He did. This was impressive. Not only physical style of running that you'd expect from a big man, but the athleticism. The Bucs knew they had something special when they got this guy, and in particular that right there. He was a track guy in high school and obviously was a hurdler, but this guy's got the physical skills. Runs a little bit upright for a big back. I think he's going to learn to carry those shoulder pads a little bit further over his feet as he moves down the field. But he is a load. He's still learning protections. That's why we're seeing Cadillac Williams in the lineup, in particularly no huddle, and in terms of picking up those protection schemes. You know, he might remind you a little bit of an a Dickerson. I had a Robert Smith that people thought ran too upright, but they both had tremendous speed. This guy needs to get his pads down just a little bit.
A second tight end checks in on 3rd and inches. We got a quarterback as big as a mountain. Will he keep it? He will keep it. He didn't need much.
Nah, but at 6'5", you could fall forward on 3rd and 4 and get a first down. These guys have been chippy all day long. You can see it right here. And as typical as divisional rivals, you tend to think more of Atlanta and New Orleans only because they've won more of late. And it's always who's winning the most. But Tampa Bay, there's a good rivalry here, and they've been chipping away at each other the whole game.
We see Jeremy Suta, who's playing center for the 4th consecutive game after the injury to Jeff Fain. His quarterback pulling him away. So it is a first down. Pump fake. Eric Lorig loses the football, and it looked like he covered it up. Or is it incomplete? Incomplete, Nicole.
Lorig is a converted defensive end. I don't know that would be my first choice of my options, but obviously trying to drop it off and get some positive yards there.
You know, the interesting thing about Lorig is he was one of the most heavily recruited tight ends in the country coming out of high school. And he went to Stanford. Played tight end for a year, then they moved him to the defensive line. Drafted, as you mentioned, Brian, at defensive line. And they started moving him to the backfield and tight end, and he started the game in place of the injured Ernest Graham today at fullback. Blunt for 2. Let's send it cross country back to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Opening kickoff of the second half, Vikings down by 4. Percy Harvin gets it going for a bit. The ball is stripped. Arizona's Mike Adams scoops it up, takes it 30 yards for the score, and Arizona at the Metrodome on top of the Vikings with their second special team touchdown of the day, 21-10. Tom Bryant.
Things going bad to worse for Minnesota. Arizona in that tightly contested NFC West. We'll see them against Seattle next week. 3rd and 8. Freeman throws behind the wide open Preston Parker.
And that's the type of touch throw I'm talking about that Josh Freeman still has to be able to develop. He can throw what he sees now. That one just a little bit behind because he was throwing what he saw rather than anticipating the receiver coming into that hole. That's the next step for this young quarterback in terms of his maturation as a quarterback.
Two possessions here in the 3rd quarter for the Buccaneers. A turnover and now a punt. Their catch by Weems at the 18. 6:40 to play in the 3rd. This is a big defensive series upcoming for Tampa Bay. 24-14, Atlanta in front. A little more than midway through this 3rd quarter, and we said it before the break. Tampa Bay needs a stop.
Yeah, offensively, they've been stalled the last couple drives. They need to be put on a short field to help themselves out here.
Screen to Roddy White. That didn't fool the Bucs.
Basically, there's just a stack quick screen. You see this in college a lot. Roddy White's going to take a 1 step and come back. If they get the look they want, this little one-on-one, they're letting the athleticism of Roddy White get down the field. If it wasn't what they wanted, they likely would have checked to another play.
For a first down. He's knocking on the door yet again of 100 yards. He's carried for over 103 of his last 5.
Here you can see he's just number counting here. He's seeing to the weak side. You're seeing Matt Ryan at the line of scrimmage delay just a little bit. He wants to make sure the number counts right. Otherwise, he's going to get into that kill game I alluded to earlier. Right now, this is a very measured drive, not a no huddle, but a measured drive by the quarterback, Matt Ryan. You can hear the kill again.
Go to Snelling. A nice play made by Michael Bennett.
Let's talk about blocking by the receivers on the outside. You don't run the ball unless you've got good receiver blocking. First, you've got to establish contact coming off the ball. Secondly, you want to stay square as you possibly can to maintain contact, and that's the key. How long can you maintain contact? If you're running the ball well, your receivers have to be a part of that running game.
Hey, I had a lot of 101 courses in college. When do I get to advance beyond that?
We're not so fast, Skippy. Just hold on. We'll wait till we get to the playoffs. I might let you graduate to the 400 level. Right now, you show me that you understand the 101 first. I've heard that.
Free play here. Michael Jenkins along the sideline, and that is a catch or no? They're talking about it.
Still debating. And this is the way it should be. What you see, what I see, absolutely a catch.
But again, there is a flag down.
The ruling on the field is a catch on the sideline or a first down. Offside, defense number 20. Penalties decline. First down.
Penalty against Rondé Barber.
Yeah, and there's no use in challenging something like that. The gain wasn't that substantial that if you were to win it, then a penalty would kick in. And you do have the right, had Tampa Bay challenged that, to come back and say, okay, if I lost the challenge indeed, then I'll go ahead and take the I'll take the penalty. Nice job by the officials. That's the way it should work. What did you see? What did I see? Confer, then we get the right decision.
The intended receiver, Mahaley. Second down. See New Orleans in front of Carolina 20-3. And today that Chicago-Buffalo game is in Toronto.
Jets and Detroit. You said it early, Tom. This Detroit team is gaining steam. You love the way Stafford's come back, and Ndamukong Suh. Jim Schwartz doing a good job in Detroit. They're a team to keep an eye on.
Boy, Cleveland blasting New England. Roddy White, a first down to the 35.
This is all the relationship between Matt Ryan and Roddy White. You talk about what they call a stick eight or a bang eight, real skinny post, a lot of different names for it. Matt Ryan right at the top of the drop just bangs it. That thing's open, and it's only very quickly that window, and look, right at the top of the drop, right off the fifth step, that thing comes out with authority. Excellent combination between two guys that have gotten real used to one another.
4 catches, 49 yards for White, who was injured early in the game. And here's Turner. Another first down carry to the 22. Turner now 8 yards shy of 100 for the day.
Watch the feet on Michael Turner. This is the thing that impresses me the most. Yeah, he's got size and explosion. Look at this balance. Off balance, the feet keep churning. Always positive yards. This is a guy that didn't play a lot the first 4 or 5 years of his career. He'll tell you, Coach, I'm still healthy. I'm not a typical 30-year-old back. I don't have that many hits on me yet.
No, he was a backup, many may remember, to Damian Tomlinson in San Diego before signing as a free agent with Atlanta in 2008. And you know, Brian, there are good signs and then there are good signs. When Turner made his Atlanta debut, he rushed for 220 yards his first game in a Falcon uniform against Detroit. And in that 2008 season, a Pro Bowler, rushed for almost 1,700 yards and a franchise record 17 rushing touchdowns. But last year he missed over 5 games with an ankle injury. They weren't the same, and neither was he.
No, they had a winning season, but they weren't a playoff caliber team like they were the year before.
Flag comes in late.
Yeah, that's going to be offensive pass interference, no question about that. Roddy White thought this was going to be a little throwback, back shoulder throw, gave a shove to the defensive back. In this instance, he and Matt Ryan.
Pass interference, offense number 84. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, there's no question. The fans can boo on this, but you're going to see this right at the top of the route. Matt Ryan thought he was going vertical. Whatever he thought he saw, Roddy White saw it differently. That shove with the right hand. Not going to get away with it. The official all over it. Now you're on the edge of field goal. That's a big penalty right here. You got to be careful you don't get sacked out of further field goal position. It's only second down. You got to think about that in terms of your next 2 play calls.
Gonzalez gets a little bit back, not much, a couple of yards. Spotted at the 28, third down.
And this is a 10-point differential, so this is what I'm talking about. With the ball on the 28-yard line, you can't afford a sack that backs you up. So right now, Mike Mularkey, I'm sure, he and head coach Mike Smith, what do we want out of this? Well, yeah, you want a touchdown, you want a first down, but on this down and distance, whatever we do, don't leave ourselves at the risk of getting pushed out of, at a minimum, good field goal position.
Well, right now they'd be looking at about a 45-yard field goal attempt. Snelling tackled from behind, well short of the first down. 23-yard line, so this will be a 40-yard field goal try, or roughly thereabouts for Matt Bryant.
And you can see as a offshoot from that, you'd expect one of two things: a draw or a little quick screen like that. He had to buy a little time with it. Safe, not going to get sacked. Get me a few more yards for my field goal kicker, because to take this lead to 13 now could be big.
41 yards, the attempt for Matt Bryant. Perfect. So now Freeman and the Bucs down by 13. Falcons leading 27-14. Don't forget now, Tampa Bay fell behind early on in this one, 14-0. But then they had the touchdown to Aurelius Ben to make it 14-7. Fell behind by 10, and then in the final minutes of the first half, hit the 58-yard touchdown to Williams to draw within 3. But now after a turnover on their first possession led to an Atlanta touchdown. A Tampa Bay punt, 11 plays, 59 yards, and a field goal. Spurlock picking it up. And look at this. Spurlock still on his feet. No penalty flags. Spurlock will go the distance. 89 yards for Spurlock after the ball was initially bobbled by Maurice Stovall. And how about that?
And how often do you see this, Tom? I mean, this has got disaster written all over it, but it throws off the timing. Everybody comes out of their lane. They sense a possible turnover. Now everybody's out of their lane, and what comes out of it? A huge, huge game changer for Tampa Bay. Well, we've talked about the orchestrated drives of Atlanta. What is it going to take? Tampa Bay has play after play, situation after situation, come up with the big play. None bigger than that.
Spurlock has been a huge factor in this game. We told you earlier, after all those years without ever having a kickoff returned for a touchdown, Spurlock ended that drought in 07. But here today, he's had returns of 29, 66, 25, and 89. Ball game on again in Atlanta. Second kickoff return for a touchdown in the career of Michael Spurlock. Look at his average today, and bear in mind, Atlanta is the best kickoff coverage team in the NFL this year. Number 1.
A lot of that has to do with their ability to kick it out of the back of the end zone. But still good. Oh, look at this, an onside kick.
And it works to perfection, it appears.
Wow.
Raheem Morris. Oh, they're saying Atlanta with a football. No, now it's Tampa Bay.
Wow.
How about that? The kicker appeared to be the one who kicked it, and then Connor Barth appeared to cover it up.
This is just a dribble kick by the kicker. Two components. Can I kick it? And do I have the nerve? Oh, be careful you don't touch that early. Do I have the nerve to cover this thing up? Let's look at this. It's got to go 10 yards. Our yellow line is unofficial. We don't have it on this one. There's nothing there to say it did.
He did it.
I think he played that perfectly.
Yep.
Wow.
Atlanta is challenged if the ball was touched by the kicking team prior to going 10 yards.
All right, let's watch Adam Hayward here. He's number 57. Did he touch the ball?
And it's real clear cut. The yard line is real clear cut, unless you're saying it touched his hip. Nice job. Again, it was ruled that Tampa Bay's ball, so it's going to be tough to look at that and say you have irrefutable evidence to say he touched it.
Mike Smith is 2 of 4 on challenges this year. Tell you what, Raheem Morris, he made a lot of headlines, of course, a couple of weeks ago, saying we're the best team in the NFC. And, you know, he said that stats are for losers and so many of these different things we've heard him say the last couple of weeks, but you got to love his style.
Oh, absolutely. And you're backing it up here, and the players love that right here. He definitely comes down on that. Did it touch his leg? Right there. Oh, boy. Let's run that back if we can.
Illegally touched by the kicking team at the 39-yard line. By rule, the ball belongs to the receiving team at that spot. First down, Atlanta.
Stop right there. You saw it. I can't. If we can back it up just a little bit, you saw it coming back. Stop right there. I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Help me out here now. You go a little bit further. Stop. You can see right there his hip comes down on it. This is the line right in here. Good call. Replay gets it right. Boy, what a huge turn of events.
Ernie France, our instant replay assistant. So great field position. It's great when it works. It's a lost gamble when it doesn't. Atlanta leading by 6. Will hand it to Turner. And Gerald McCoy right there.
And you know what? The players will back you up on that, Tom. They love the aggressiveness. Winning on the road is hard in the National Football League. If you're going to beat a good team like Atlanta, you're going to have to do something like that. You got to underwrite it for your coach, so to speak, saying, you call it, we'll back it up one way or the other.
And let's not forget, as we go to the 4th quarter, Josh Freeman has 4 come-from-behind wins at quarterback this year. Can he do it again? Fox NFL Sunday continues after a word from your local Fox station. (27-21), Atlanta in front. First place in the NFC South being decided here at the Georgia Dome today.
Kill again. Kill series in place.
And all 3 times they've run it to the right side. And all 3 times a very small gain. So 3rd down upcoming. Of course, Veterans Day comes our way this Thursday, and we want to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world watching our telecast. The NFL on Fox, on AFM, the American Forces Network, in 175 countries and aboard 140 ships at sea.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Proud to have all of you with us. Our thoughts and prayers as we stand behind you as you defend our freedom. Third down and 8.
And a big matchup up here. Tony Gonzalez one-on-one.
Ryan being chased. Tries to find Gonzalez. It's incomplete. And this appears to be out of the reach field goal wise, at least this year, for Matt Bryant.
Here again, matchup here keeps with him the whole way. Nice job. See the size different. Probably wanted to get the ball up a little earlier. Now it's just a scramble around. Nice stick and stay by the DB. You talk about underwriting the decision of Raheem Morris going for that onside kick. That's exactly what his defense just did. Coach, we got your back. We appreciate the call. Now Atlanta's got a punt.
We're going to take a delay of game here.
Yeah, and they always get this, and then you always decline it. You know, they want to back it up so you got a little more room maybe to knock it down inside the 10.
Delay of game, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
I don't know why we do that.
Let's go downstairs to Chris Myers.
Tom Bryant, you know, Raheem Morris admitted he's a thief when it comes to coaches. He'll steal ideas from other coaches. And Sean Payton, even though Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coach, has had that onside kick play in for years, Raheem Morris taking a page out of Sean Payton's Super Bowl playbook for that one, trying to get an advantage in a game that he's behind.
Trying to pin him tight, and that they'll do as Weems covers it up. 4 fourth quarter come from behind wins for Josh Freeman. This season, he already has 6 of them of his 8 career victories. 6. He's going to throw it from his own end zone. Batted down. Well, this year it started the very first Sunday of the season against Cleveland in a 3-point victory. The game you and I did in Cincinnati, 10 points in the final 2 minutes to stun the Bengals. And in the last 2 weeks, the win over St. Louis on the pass to Williams. And then the late score to beat Arizona in the desert last week. Does he have a 5th this year in him today?
Well, they're going after it. They were looking to go down the field with that first down call. You think maybe play action fake and a pass here. Oh, probably should have done that.
Jamal Anderson. They'll spot the ball at the 1-yard line. That will not be a safety. Anderson lost his starting job to Troy Bierman.
You can just see it on this right side. Just blow this thing up. Defeats the tackle on the outside. Anytime you're looking at the guy you're supposed to block from behind, that's not a good thing. Dangerous call here now on a 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 from your 1-yard line. You desperately need to get a drive going. But boy, this isn't a place you want to turn the ball over. Be an interesting place to bring pressure.
They're going to run out of time. How in the world does that happen?
Well, it's going to cost me about a half a yard.
To the goal, 3rd down.
Well, I know, but I mean, you know,
well, it's getting awful loud down there. I'm not trying to excuse the fact, but when you think about it, rather than timeout, I'd have been more upset had he called timeout.
Yeah.
Look, don't waste a timeout on a half a yard. We're in a tough position. It's not that much tougher, but the fans are now getting into it.
What are you calling here?
You know what? Whatever I call, I'm going to stay out of the middle of the field because that's where it's going to get picked off. If I like a matchup on the outside, I might try to drop it off underneath and see if a guy can run for a 1st down. But you got to be very careful throwing this thing between the numbers.
They might run out of time again. They just do get it off. They're looking down the sideline, and it's Spurlock who makes the play.
What a great throw.
43-yard completion to Michael Spurlock from the end zone.
Right down the rail. We've said it many times. A deep ball is not about arm strength. It's about timing. Perfect throw in the field. You know, no ball has ever been completed in the history of the game out of bounds. Laid that thing in the only place. Great coverage by Grimes. Yeah, I don't know that you could have covered it any better. What a great throw and catch.
It's only the 13th catch all year long by Spurlock. And the first completion of the half by Freeman, who's hit as he throws on 1st down looking for Winslow. It's 2nd down. Boy, there is something indeed unique about this 22-year-old.
Let's look at that 9 route, Tom. We got a route tree here, and I got to tell you, a 9 route is all about timing and placement. The 9 route, everybody runs it. Down the field, 40 and 5 placement right there. Perfect placement by the quarterback right along the sideline.
Play clock at 1. They pick up the blitz, and this time a poor decision by Freeman, and Grimes takes it away.
Yeah, I'm afraid the young quarterback stared this one down. Great pressure pickup by the front. We'll come back and look at it when we come back, but he stared that thing down.
Here's a young man making quite a name for himself, Brent Grimes. Rookie free agent out of Shippensburg back in 2007, was waived initially, spent 2 years on the practice squad, played over in NFL Europe, and many believe he's the best cornerback maybe in this division. We've heard that from teams that have played against Tampa Bay this year or against Atlanta. Gonzalez to the 37, a 1st down.
We got to go back to this. I want you to watch the eyes of Josh Freeman, Tom, and he is staring this thing down from the get-go. Grimes sees that. He breaks on the ball like a receiver. They were yelling for pass interference, but he has as much right to go to the ball as does the receiver. That was incidental contact. Josh Freeman going, wait a minute now. That should be pass interference. The official will turn around and go, no, you shouldn't stare down the receiver that way.
Turner wrapped up by Dakota Watt. Watson, and let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
The Bills winless in America, so they go to Canada to play Chicago. Corey McIntyre scores the short touchdown, but they missed the two-point conversion. However, Buffalo still on top of the Bears, 19-14, under 9 minutes to go, trying to hang on and get win number 1. Tom and Brian.
I got nothing to say. I got Buffalo.
What does that mean?
Chicago loses to Buffalo. I got nothing to say.
Ryan on second down. Oh, a hit. Is that a catch and a fumble or an incomplete pass? They're saying no catch. Dakota Watson again right in the thick of things along with Geno Hayes.
Well, we've seen 2 of those completions right here in the middle, right in front of the linebackers. The 2 other time we saw it with Tony Gonzalez. Right now, Roddy White's going, nah, I tell you what, send one of those big old tight ends in there next time, okay? I'll catch this stuff on the outside. Don't be sending me in there too often.
Hey, this is a very important third down here. If Atlanta comes away with 3 points on this drive, that makes it a 2-possession game for the Buccaneers. Looking for Harry Douglas, and that is great coverage by E.J. Biggers, step for step. And Atlanta will have to punt. Falcons have had a hard time doing much against this Tampa Bay defense in the second half.
I tell you what, and this is great coverage by Biggers. They've tended to pick on this guy when you really need it. Harry Douglas, that's just infighting. No guy. The whole thing about pass interference, does one player or the other get a competitive advantage? There was no competitive advantage there. Nice pickup by Biggers.
You cannot say enough about this Tampa Bay defense. The last 2 Atlanta drives, scoreless drives. After the failed onside kick, a fair catch by Spurlock. Atlanta didn't score. And now after the turnover, the Falcons denied. 27-21, Tampa Bay's defense able to stand tall for a second straight Atlanta possession, giving Freeman and the Buccaneers offense the football. LeGarrette Blount on first down. Into the secondary and beyond. He's cut down at the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 20 by LeGarrette Blount.
Boy, just using your hammer and nail running downhill with a big kid like this.
Freeman had thrown just 3 interceptions the entire year. He's thrown a couple of them today. Blount has not been a factor until this second half. And Williams with a big touchdown reception in the opening stanza. Losing a couple is Blount on first down. Let's again check in downstairs along the sideline with Chris Myers.
And Tom, by the Tampa Bay sideline, and the offensive meeting last night, they used 2 points to deliver one message. The 2 points here, they told them you're the youngest team, the lowest payroll. The message was you have to earn it, you have to prove it. The message delivered, don't blink, you're not good enough to overlook anybody, and they did make the point. We can come back from anything, anywhere. That's the confidence on Raheem Morris's young team.
Chris Myers knows his stuff, especially on these Buccaneers. He calls their preseason games. Short of a first down on the catch to Winslow. Third down and a yard.
You know, last week when we had, Chris and I had these Buccaneers, Tom, and very much like this, it came down into that fourth quarter. They had the lead for a good part of the game. Arizona came back in kind of unique fashion, and they put a drive together that started out kind of like this. A big run by Blount. Freeman making a couple big plays down the way.
We're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, they got to get it right.
We have 8:19 to go, but at least so far in this game, this is the biggest play of the game for the Buccaneers. All right, Brian Billick, let's go back to your play calling days. Greg Olson has that sheet in front of him over on the Tampa Bay sideline. What are you calling here, 3rd and 2?
Well, naturally, the safe thing to do is to run the ball. You've got big backs that you can do that with, particularly with Blount. But you got to know the defense is doing the same thing. This might be a place for a play-action play. This is the area where Josh Freeman likes to play fake and break contain. Let him use his athleticism as well as his arm to get a pivotal 3rd down.
Are you surprised how well this Tampa Bay team has played in this kind of game on the road?
I am, Tom. We've seen them a couple times. They've had some nice comebacks. They're showing some maturity. But in this atmosphere, in this building, against a divisional rival like this, yeah, I'm very impressed with the way they've responded.
Cornell Williams is in the backfield, which more than likely tells you they're throwing it. And how about that? They hand it off. And Williams, a veteran, grinds his way to a first down. Perhaps getting Atlanta to believe it would be a surefire throw with that lineup in the backfield.
Well, they spread it off, an offset back like that. Very rarely you're going to run the ball from that. Really didn't get Atlanta to loosen the box all that much. This is just a good physical run. You didn't trick anybody there. That's just helmet on a helmet. Good, tough run by Cadillac Williams.
Well, they move the chains up to the 45. They give it to Williams again. Let's go to Los Angeles for a game break.
Vikings down 2 touchdowns to Arizona in the 4th quarter. Brett Favre rolling out on 4th and goal. One last chance, maybe? No. Incomplete. They turn it over on downs. It's 24-10 Minnesota with 5.5 left. Tom and Brian, you think last week was tough on Chile?
Sometimes it's good to be king. Sometimes it's not.
2nd down and 8. 7 minutes to go at the Georgia Dome. They'll run it again.
Nice play.
That's Jonathan Babineau, his second big play of the afternoon.
He's had a couple big plays today. Doing a nice job just coming in here, blowing through his gap. He's done this a couple times now. Guard, or the center, excuse me, never really getting heavy on him. One arm, that's hard to bring down a back. A big back like Blunt reaching out there. Huge play. Tough 3rd and long now for Josh Freeman in this Tampa Bay offense.
Need to get to the Atlanta 45 to convert. Blitz coming. They convert. That is a catch at the 44-yard line by Mike Williams, and it's good enough for a first down. And again, Cornell Williams providing the time.
Unbelievable pickup again by Williams. First on the outside, drags both those feet. Tampa Bay quickly getting up, trying to get a playoff to prevent a challenge with a no-huddle.
And they hand it off to Williams. And he's back to the line of scrimmage.
Another great pickup on that 3rd down by Williams, Tom. We've seen that a couple times. Hardest thing for a back to do is scan all the way across. It's basically saying, look, you take whoever's not covered. That's a tough thing to do. Nice job by Tampa Bay picking up protection.
I tell you, it tells you a lot about the character of Cornell Williams. Former #1 draft pick, NFL Rookie of the Year, came back from devastating knee injuries. And now not the featured back perhaps any longer, but try to help his team win games. Williams takes it, pitches it back. They're looking down the field. And it's incomplete, and a flag is down.
Oh, boy.
They might be calling this.
Yeah, it's pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. Automatic first down.
I got to tell you, I hated this call as a coach. I don't know that you cannot make it, but you're trailing the play. The ball's underthrown. You're going to see here as they go down vertical. Now watch the trail. The ball's right down here in the middle. It's underthrown. He's having to wait for it. You're just basically trying to get there. You show up late. That's going to get called every time. I don't know what you do to tell a player what not to do. You got to pull off at the last minute, turn around, jump around backwards to make the play. It's a tough, tough call.
33-yard penalty. Ball spotted at the 11 with 5:12 to play.
I don't know quite who threw that flag, unless they're looking. Tampa threw the flag. I'm not quite. The spot. That's about the only thing I would think that they're challenging right here. He's either trying to talk him out of it or trying to
The
figure.
spot of the foul is not reviewable.
Yeah.
First down.
And they'll
Tampa
do
Bay.
that for you. They'll save you. You know, to come and say, look, coach, that's not part of the review system. They're not going to charge you for it. They must have thought that he got a lot more yards afterwards. I don't know what it is exactly they were trying to come out of it with.
Look at this drive.
Yeah.
8 plays, 80 yards.
What'd we say? Are they up to the challenge? It's too. Josh Freeman would love to have that throw back because he underthrew him. He had a touchdown if he'd have let that thing go. Big, strong arm quarterback like that. They're not in there yet.
And obviously needing a touchdown. A field goal is not going to do it. Blunt. And again, right in the thick of things. Jamal Anderson, who's played well today. Anderson, as we mentioned, who lost his starting job at the beginning of this season, but having a nice game along with Babineau along that defensive front.
You know, and the coaches will tell you they think Jamal Anderson kind of got a bad rap. He's a first-round draft choice. Hasn't had a lot of sacks that you'd expect when you take a guy in the first round. Moving inside's been good for him, but it's not a spectacular position. They move him all over the place, showing up on that last play. Quick screen to the outside.
4 receivers out there, and they throw it to Parker. He's inside the 5, and he's down to the 4. It's Preston Parker.
Comes right out of the Kansas State playbook. You know, Josh Freeman's very comfortable with that. All you're trying to do is outflank everybody, get the ball out quick. I got a 3-man screen in front of me. See if I got the athleticism to make something happen.
3rd and 2.
Well, last third and short, you hand it off in an offset back to Williams. Might be a great place for that play fake. Come out of it and let Josh Freeman make it with his legs.
Well, they've got a couple of big bodies they brought in.
They're showing straight downhill. I don't know, this might be a little long for a play action fake out of this alignment unless they like this one-on-one matchup.
They just line up and say, here it is. And that's LeGarrette Blount. He needed to get right at the 1-yard line for a first down.
They're spotting it short. They're going to spot it short. That's a man's way of doing it.
Wow.
Boy, here's a call now. Now you're at 3:28 and you're down by 6. This is a tough call. You'd love to go for the touchdown. A field goal puts you within 3. They're definitely going for it.
They're going.
Get the play in quick, coach. Don't want to burn a timeout here. It's your last one.
Derek Hardman, an extra offensive lineman, checks in. Tampa Bay 6 out of 8 on first downs. Josh Freeman.
They're going to have to call timeout. For some reason, the quarterback communication system, they're going to run out of time here. You do not want to rush this play, I promise you. Josh Freeman, if he isn't comfortable, you got to call timeout.
They don't get it on.
You got to look at the clock. Gosh.
3rd and final charge timeout.
Oh, they got it in.
Raheem Morris
Raheem
sprinted
Morris.
all the way down the sideline to the end zone to call that timeout, recognizing his young quarterback was not aware of the play clock. Fourth down and maybe a foot.
This is scrum time here. They got a lot of big bodies in this game.
They brought in a defensive tackle, Roy Miller, an extra offensive tackle, and Derek Hardman. And they hand it to Blount. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he got it.
They're sprinting off the field, and Atlanta's saying it's short. Blount saying first down. I don't think he got there.
Yeah, oh, they're calling it the other way that he didn't get it. I would at least call for a measurement. Unless they're calling it a fumble.
And that's Thomas Deku who made the biggest play of this game. Number 28.
Yeah, he's got control. Wow. No, the ball's not out. They're just saying it's short. I don't know that I don't call. I understand. You can call for a measurement anytime you want it. That's awful strong of Terry McCauley to say, no, we definitely know. He did not get the distance. You're still now in pretty good position here.
Well, you're 2:37 to go, but the Buccaneers are out of timeouts. And this will take us down to the 2-minute warning. 4th down and less than a foot, and the Atlanta defense makes a play of the game.
And let's give them credit now, because from the standpoint you got to give the defense credit. Some people will question the play call or whatever. This is just great defense by the Atlanta Falcons. Great hit on the outside by Deku.
And remember, they can't challenge the Buccaneers on that spot because they're out of timeouts. 2 minutes left to play here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. And a 4th down stop inside the 2-yard line. Denies Tampa Bay a go-ahead touchdown. The Buccaneers with no more timeouts. Remember, Brian Billick, they called that timeout when they couldn't get the play set.
You can see here the clock is winding down, but what we're seeing here coming in late, Raheem Morris. We're going to show you another view now. Right here. Here you can see, stop right there. He had plenty of guys he was trying to influence there, and that's what they're there for. The problem is when you utilize that last timeout, you were out of challenges now to see if possibly you might have challenged for the 1st down. I still would have been screaming like a stuck pig for a measurement. I want to. You got to show me with the chains. I didn't make that.
Well, it's 3rd, and we'll call it 2. They convert here, and Tampa Bay's in trouble, and the Bucs are in trouble. Turner to put him over 100 yards in a game, and perhaps put the Atlanta Falcons in first place all by themselves in the NFC South.
Yep, you get to your favorite formation now, the victory formation. No timeouts, under a minute. They can simply take a knee to finish this out. Raheem Morris has nothing to be embarrassed by. His team played one heck of a game. Just came up short on the road against a divisional foe. Heck of a football game.
Clean snap, and that's going to do it. So Mike Smith and the Atlanta Falcons will go to 6-2 on the year. Josh Freeman and his Tampa Bay team can hold its head high. They played like a team that believes it's among the best in the NFC here today. But it's a 27-21 victory for the Falcons. And we're back with more. You're watching the NFL on Fox.